What if the religion you thought was Bible-based had roots in something far more secretive? Symbols of the occult, hidden ties to Freemasonry, and a founder buried beneath a pyramid. In this video, we expose 5 shocking Masonic connections buried deep in the origins of Jehovah's Witnesses, connections that the Watchtower has tried to erase from memory. From the mysterious use of the cross and crown, to phrases used only in Masonic lodges, and even official documents that raise more questions than answers. We're not using rumors. We're using their own literature, Russell's original sermons, and historical records they hope you never read. So whether you're a curious outsider, a doubting witness, or someone who walked away, this video will show you a side of the Watchtower you were never meant to see. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're ready to uncover what's been hidden in plain sight. The story begins in the late 1800s, a time when spiritualism, secret societies, and apocalyptic movements were exploding across Europe and North America. Freemasonry was at its peak influence, not just in politics and architecture, but in religion, philosophy, and publishing. And right in the middle of that landscape, a man named Charles Taze Russell founded what would become the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, the organization behind Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, we're not here to make wild accusations, but we are going to look at a few historical details that simply can't be ignored. For example, Russell's fascination with the Great Pyramid of Giza, which he called God's Stone Witness, and his use of Masonic-style imagery, including the infamous cross and crown symbol. He was even buried near a pyramid monument erected by the Watchtower itself. Coincidence? Maybe. But the deeper you look, the harder it is to explain these patterns away. You'll also hear about a speech Russell gave in 1913, where he said the words, "I am a free and accepted Mason." He immediately clarified that he didn't mean it literally, but then continued using language that only someone familiar with Masonic teachings would understand. Again, we're not saying he was a Freemason, but these overlaps raise an uncomfortable question. How much of the Watchtower's foundation was influenced by secret ideologies hiding in plain sight? 1. The pyramid at Russell's grave. In Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, not far from where the Watchtower movement began, lies the grave of Charles Taze Russell. But what stands out isn't just the tombstone. It's a massive stone pyramid nearby, built and funded by the Watchtower Society itself. On it, you'll find an engraved emblem, the cross and crown, a symbol historically linked to the Knights Templar and prominently used in Freemasonic imagery. For a religion that now condemns pagan symbols, this monument raises a massive red flag. The organization has since distanced itself from the pyramid, claiming it no longer represents their beliefs. But they never explained why they erected it in the first place. Why would a Bible-based Christian group build a Masonic-style pyramid over their founder's resting place? And why was Russell so obsessed with Pyramidology, even calling the Great Pyramid of Giza God's Stone Witness? He believed it contained divine measurements and timelines that confirmed Bible prophecy, ideas that were also popular among occultists and esoteric societies at the time. Again, we're not saying Russell was a Freemason, but the pyramid, the symbols, and the teachings speak for themselves. And if this is how the foundation was laid, what else is hidden beneath the surface? 2. The cross and crown symbol. Long before the Watchtower banned the cross, it proudly displayed a striking emblem on its publications, a cross inside a crown. This symbol wasn't just decorative, it was central to the identity of the early movement. The Zion's Watchtower magazine, early books, and even Russell's personal lapel pins carried the cross and crown. But here's where it gets strange. This exact image is also one of the most recognizable symbols in Freemasonry, particularly within the York Rite and the Knights Templar. The Watchtower later removed the symbol entirely and condemned all use of the cross. But they've never explained why their foundational years were so full of Masonic-style iconography. Was it just a coincidence? Or was Russell borrowing imagery from a system he publicly denied being part of, yet seemed deeply familiar with? And here's something most people miss. The cross and crown isn't just about design, it carries a message. In Masonic circles, it represents suffering, the cross, followed by glory, the crown, and spiritual elevation through secret knowledge. Sound familiar? In the early Watchtower teachings, Russell echoed the same theme. Endure now, reign later, but only through loyalty to the organization. The overlap in meaning is hard to ignore. 3. Russell's statement, "I am a free and accepted Mason." In 1913, during a lecture in California, Charles Taze Russell made a statement that still echoes in XJW forums today: "I am a free and accepted Mason." He quickly followed it by saying, not in the literal sense, but continued using terms and phrases directly associated with Masonic teachings. For example, he spoke of greater light, mysteries being revealed, and the temple class, language that resonates more with secret societies than with biblical exposition. Now, defenders of the Watchtower say Russell was simply being metaphorical, drawing spiritual parallels. But even if that's true, the choice of words and timing are strange. At the time, Freemasonry was widely known and respected in certain intellectual circles, but controversial in religious ones. Why would a religious leader feel comfortable publicly aligning himself, even symbolically, with such an organization? And here's where it gets deeper: free and accepted Mason isn't just a generic phrase. It's a formal title used by actual Masonic lodges around the world. Russell didn't say, "I appreciate some Masonic ideas." He used their own terminology at the beginning of a Bible lecture. Was he revealing something more than he intended? Or was it just another coincidence in a long list of accidental connections? 4. Pyramidology and divine measurements. Charles Taze Russell didn't just believe in the Bible. He believed the Great Pyramid of Giza was inspired by God. In fact, he called it God's stone witness, claiming that its internal passageways and angles held hidden prophetic timelines that confirmed biblical chronology. He even taught that measuring the inner chambers of the pyramid could reveal the exact dates for Christ's return and the end of the world. This doctrine wasn't a minor side belief. It was a core teaching for years. Diagrams of the pyramid were included in Watchtower publications, and entire books were written about its supposed divine origin. The problem: these ideas didn't come from the Bible. They came from 19th century occultism, popular among Freemasons, Theosophists, and mystics who believed ancient structures held secret knowledge from higher beings. Eventually, the Watchtower abandoned pyramidology and tried to bury that part of their history. But the question remains: why would a self-proclaimed Christian leader turn to Egyptian monuments and esoteric geometry to validate Scripture? And how many more of these hidden influences shaped the foundation of what would become Jehovah's Witnesses? 5. Hierarchy and secrecy that mirror Masonic structure. Freemasonry is built on a structure of ranks, rituals, and inner circles, where only those who advance gain access to deeper knowledge. Now look closely at the organization of Jehovah's Witnesses. You'll find a surprisingly similar pattern: publishers, pioneers, ministerial servants, elders, circuit overseers, branch committees. And at the top, the governing body, a group of men who speak for God but remain spiritually untouchable. The average Jehovah's Witness has no real access to how decisions are made or doctrines are created. Everything filters down from the top, often through coded language, anonymous articles, or letters marked confidential for elders only. Much like in Freemasonry, loyalty to the system is more important than understanding what's really happening behind the curtain. Questioning authority: that's the fastest way to be expelled or disfellowshipped. Even the meetings resemble ritual: rehearsed answers, repeated terminology, rigid behavior. It creates a mindset of submission disguised as spirituality. And while the Watchtower condemns secret societies like the Freemasons, its internal structure looks eerily similar: a hierarchy where truth isn't discovered, it's handed down. So here's the question: how many coincidences does it take before we stop calling them coincidences? A founder buried near a pyramid. Masonic symbols on early publications. A mysterious speech about being a free and accepted Mason. Secret doctrines. Hidden authority structures. And decades of silence about it all. Jehovah's Witnesses are taught to believe they belong to the one true religion. But when you start peeling back the layers, the foundations look far more man-made and eerily familiar to systems the organization claims to oppose. We're not here to push conspiracy. We're here to ask the uncomfortable questions they refuse to answer. So if this video made you think, even just a little, hit the like button. It tells the algorithm this message matters. And believe me, the more people who see it, the more impossible it becomes for the Watchtower to hide behind silence. Share it. Comment below. And subscribe if you're ready for more content that exposes religious deception with evidence, clarity, and courage. Because the truth doesn't fear investigation, but the Watchtower does.